Fourth today, we have Bill McKay, who is Senior Lecturer at the School of Architecture and Planning at the University of Auckland. Bill's a prolific critic and writer, critic of architecture and urban space and public art. He's a practising architect, and he's currently researching the architecture of World War II memorial halls in New Zealand, which I find fascinating. He's produced several award-winning public works of art himself in collaboration with artists. Welcome, Bill.
I'll stay sitting over here. The reason I don't have any pictures is because my interest is in the mechanisms by which we get good outcomes in situations like this. Imagination, good design, public art, those things I'm sure we'll all agree are crucial to a livable city, a good city, a decent city, but how do we ensure that they're part of the process? I'm from Auckland, which is, as you know, a bit of a dump. I've seen plenty of good plans and good ideas come and go up there. I've seen them get watered down, and you've got to say that throughout New Zealand, we New Zealanders, we're very good at coming up with reasons for not doing all sorts of things. Like all typical Aucklanders, the first time I came to the South Island was only a couple of years ago. I came down to Christchurch, but I had a really solid, because I'm an architectural historian, a really solid look around for 3 days at the whole of the city. It's not working, so I came down and had a really solid 3-day look around Auckland, around Christchurch. And one of the things that struck me about Christchurch was the background layers of buildings. It wasn't just the gems, it wasn't just the Time Ball Station, the cathedral, the Bridge of Remembrance, those sorts of things, the arts centre. It was the background of buildings. And in Auckland, in the 1980s, we had a cyclone of market forces go through our town, and it kicked the teeth out of the townscape there. And we've got a couple of good gems, and we lost all our kind of beautiful Victorian Edwardian background buildings. And I'm very much afraid that that's the really crucial thing for Christchurch at the moment, and it's the thing that's not really being focused on. When developers were going through Auckland, they were using the same language that I'm hearing from Sarah and from the government and that sort of thing at the moment. We'd like to keep this, but it's too expensive. We'd like to keep this, but it's unsafe. There are just too many problems here. But what we can do is put up something new, but it will have the same features as what you've had before. It doesn't work like that. When the Blitz happened during the Second World War, again, you had the same sort of scenario where people said, look, we've got big open spaces in the centres of our cities now. We can do all sorts of wonderful things. It didn't happen because of the invisible things such as property lines, sewerage, power and water network in the grounds, roading, that sort of thing. And you ended up with kind of just poorer quality buildings going up in the same place, and the inability to really kind of like restructure and come up with some radical thinking for the city. The other thing that worries me is the kind of financial issues with basically insurance companies and central government running a lot of the things at the moment. Little businesses will go under. They're the financial strugglers. They don't have the insurance to keep their business going. Their businesses fall over. Who survives? The big chains, the supermarkets, the Harvey Normans and that sort of thing. What will they put up? They'll put up big boxes made out of tilt slab with little polystyrene bits on them that all kind of like, recall the features that you've all lost. So it's those sorts of things that worry me. There are a couple of other analogies that we have to Sarah in Auckland. Council-controlled organisations that actually run everything but are not transparent, and the public aren't part of the process in there. Jerry Brownlee, for all the good work he's done, terrifies me. He has said things like, but these buildings have killed people, as if to imply that buildings have some sort of malevolent sentience, and they're like a bunch of mad dogs out there to get us. So There are a few good things that I think we'll talk about a little bit later on. One of them is the importance of urban design panels, not guidelines, which developers can get round. We've had kind of 20 years of that in Auckland, but urban design panels where you've got informed people, artists, architects, urban designers, planners, who actually discuss the building rather than just run it through a sieve of design guidelines. And another fundamental thing, which I'm sure we'll talk about, is the percentage for art scheme. Otherwise, we'll end up with these big boxes with a bit of artwork, bit of frantic running around looking for an artist to whack something on the outside of it, like one of those butterflies on an old weatherboard house from the 1950s. So percentage for art funding, I think, I'm sure we'll talk about shortly. Thanks.